Good afternoon. My name is Tumi Tladi. Let's get down to business, shall we? Oh, before we do that, let's do some introductory stuff. Okay, today it's Monday, a brand new week. I'm excited about this week. The 26th of July 2021 time. It's 5 minutes after 3 p.m. Okay, so I have my document opened and I'll talk about what we're going to be doing today. So I'm still continuing a series on the version control. Okay. And before I continue with this series, I'm still going to do a minor series on Web API for both .NET Framework and .NET Core in the context of identical docs, how I build it for identical docs system. Finally, I'm gonna do extensive it's gonna be a huge series because I want to do extensive deep down into Xamarin. Xamarin forms the framework responsible for my mobile app, because there's a lot I did for that mobile app. There's a lot. So this one, it's kind of like important because while you're still building, going back and forth, you need to track the changes. So I'm not an expert of a gate system or version control or even source control system. I'm not an expert. I am not hired by GitHub, Azure DevOps, or any other service provider out there. I'm good in my own way, so even if the content might be not what you're expecting, trust me, I do this in the context of identical docs, what I've learned until I got to be where I'm at right now. I've learned a lot. Okay, so I want to recap from this video number 6 where we did public and private repositories. Okay, and then we did git clone, and this is where the problem started to arise. Please watch the previous videos because I'm not happy with how things turn out because there are some weird files. And then last time we did the readme, and today we're gonna be focusing on master branch. So this is the topic for today. But I want to go back to public and private repositories. So if I fire Visual Studio, well, it's still running. Oh, previously I was busy with my new system, C versus C. I already pushed some stuff to both GitHub and Azure DevOps, but that's not what we want. So I want to open, let's see, this project, YouTube public. Okay, I want to open it. And then I'm not happy with some additional files that are created on my local machine. Because one thing about the version control, this Git system, is that it tracks everything. So you're about to see on this tab, by the way, we're still gonna cover this tab, Git changes tab, this whole portion. There we go. Git changes tab, but first we need to do Git in Visual Studio. What on earth is happening? All right, so I'm waiting for this guy to finish loading. Is it finished loading? Oh, there we go. Okay, so it created some weird files. I've never seen them before. So why am I not excited about how things turn out to be? Like, we create a repository first on either GitHub and Azure DevOps, and therefore we clone that repository. And by the way, the repository was empty. There was not even the readme file, no file whatsoever. And then this is the junk that I don't like, because then I'm forced now to create a commit out of this. I tried to delete them, we failed terribly multiple times. So I'm not going to continue with this repositories anymore. Okay, let's see. Well, we're gonna have to go manually. It's fine. So I'm not gonna continue with these two repository, YouTube underscore public and YouTube underscore private. However, I'm gonna redo them. Okay, let's do this. It's fine. Okay, repos, there's a folder called I create called YouTube. Where is it now? There we go, YouTube, right? So I'm gonna create new projects from Visual Studio all the way to the cloud. So we are doing vice versa on what we did on this video, where we first created the repositories online in the cloud, then we pull them using git clone locally. So we are doing vice versa, the cleaner way, because these weird files, it's fine that they are there, but you do not want to check these files unnecessarily because they're being tracked. Okay, so what's the first thing that we need to do? We're gonna go in File. Well, we need to close the folder, and we need to create a new project, and then, but before we, yes, a new project, we need to create an empty solution. I don't want to add projects right now, but I do promise you that I'm going to add all kinds of projects as we continue with the series, especially when we get to branches. No, not that one. I think I'm going to elevate this one, project to branch. Yes, I think we need to move this one as we continue to update this list. So we can't do the conflicts if we don't have projects, right? So number 13 is going to be this one. We're going to create multiple projects, and then we're going to create corresponding branch out of those projects. Wait until you see what I mean about that. Okay, so let's remove some weird empty spaces. My keyboard is funny. I don't know if it's cold or not. Save. Okay, so we need to create an empty blank solution. That's how I do it. That's how I do it. Okay, and then this is how I will advise you. So this one we're gonna name it YouTube underscore public. It's the same thing, right? But we're gonna say underscore new. So it's a new thing that we are doing for public repo, Yes. Okay, so I don't want to save it here. In fact, let's copy this whole thing, and then inside the repos there's a folder called YouTube, and then in there I dump it inside this folder. Great. And then we need to make sure that that project gets to be created correctly. There we go. So there we go. See, I just created this folder right now. Cool. Now it's blank. Then what you want to do is that you want to do right click, and then you want to say create a Git repository for this one. So now Microsoft is smart enough to do 2-in-1 type of step that do not even have to go on. You see, even the browser is running, but there's no GitHub or Azure DevOps setup, or rather running in the background, but it knows already because I'm already authenticated. So this is gonna be the repository name, YouTube underscore public underscore new, yes, and then it's gonna be public one. Let's do this. It's gonna be public, yes, and the description. Did we give those one descriptions? No, we didn't. No, we didn't. It's fine. Let's just say, come back to me, do me. So this is public, something like that. No, I'm just being silly. Come back to me. So meaning I'm gonna change the description. Okay, it's gonna be public, and there we go. And then we create and push. Now I want to do the same thing that I did, but for Azure DevOps. I'm hoping that this will work. So in the meantime, let's fire both the GitHub and Azure DevOps. Okay, let's open another tab for Azure DevOps. So just to be honest, I've never done what I just did right now in Visual Studio for GitHub, doing it for Azure DevOps, and I want to know how to do that. How am I going to do it? So I'm also learning while I'm still making this content for this YouTube channel. Okay, in the meantime, while this is loading, doing some stuff behind the scenes, provisioning some repositories, putting some stuff in place. If this is the first video of mine that you're watching right now, I'm going to urge you to go back to the very first video to understand what this YouTube channel is all about. I did explain on my overview video that all of this is for my system that I built. I'm still building it. Identical docs. As a developer, we never stop building. We never stop writing code. And that I said I was gonna be raw, meaning that I was gonna be transparent, and then I was gonna show everything, all the services that I have used for my system, every single thing, every single one of them. And then so far, I think I've exposed more than 10 services that I've used. Please check them out. And then I've also done a deep dive, particularly on the web application, going back and forth between .NET Framework and .NET Core, okay? And a little bit of Web API. I'm still gonna do a little bit of a mini series on the Web API, so if there are issues, I'm gonna be honest about them. Like right now, Visual Studio, I don't know why all of a sudden it decided not to respond. I wonder why. Because we just provisioned something. I'm hoping that it's doing some stuff behind the scenes, but it was supposed to have finished because I don't have any projects. So this is another thing, that my computer, what I was working on my new system, has been super slow with some weird errors for Git, but I'll show you those errors that usually pop up here in the Git changes tab. So right now I don't know why it's doing this. Like, I'm having some difficulties to understand why it's doing that. And I hate having to wait for this, because what we need to do, it needs a Visual Studio. I wonder if it will be a great idea to tear down this IDE. So these are the issues I bump into. I really would like to apologize for that, as I don't know what's happening. Yes, we do have 31 repositories. They're supposed to be 32. So this is the old repository I was talking about, that it's messy. So there's still 31. That means the changes haven't really gone up. So with that being said, we need to destroy this IDE. Unfortunately. Okay. So. Okay, while it completely disappears, because I don't know what happened. What do you mean? We are destroying this. Is it gone? No. Okay, I'm sorry that my computer is running on a low memory. I only have 4 gig. It doesn't have a graphics. This is not my laptop. This is my computer. And funny enough, I removed some stuff to make it a bit performant, but the Visual Studio was still acting up today. But earlier on, I was doing my official work, like my main work. Not programming, but my extra work. So let's give it. Okay, so right, in the meantime, let me fire this repository while we restarted the whole process again. Just give it a second. There we go. Open this solution. All right, so the README, we did a video, the last video that we did on the README, right? Because you know why I decided to redo this thing? Because when we did this README file, we wrote this, and I want to write something on the README, right? And then that means the idea is to push to the cloud and then add the README file. After adding the README file, I have to pull back, but I can't pull them because I can't fetch, I can't do anything. We just have to wait until we get here. So like I said, after this, I'm gonna do master branch. We'll talk about that. That's another reason why I decided to redo this, because by default, based on the previous video, it created this branch called main, and I never worked with main. It has always been master. So I don't want to confuse master branch and then this side you see main. I want it to be consistent. master branch, main, because by default in Visual Studio it creates a branch name, master is a branch name and it's a default one. So apparently in GitHub the default one it's main, and I will talk about the branches. It's coming after. It's going to be quite interesting. I'll do the video tomorrow on the branches. We'll talk about the branches, and I'll go to identical docs, and also go to iNotify. It's a repository for CUT's third year world project where we had multiple branches. What was the scenario for those branches? So we'll talk more about that one. All right. I am sorry that this is happening. Unfortunately, I have to wait for it. So I don't like to edit the videos, like honestly I don't like to do fast forwarding stuff, but let's just give it a few minutes while we wait for this. You know what we can do in the meantime? We can do a bit of a research on what a master branch is. I think this, yeah. Okay, why am I signed out of Azure DevOps? No, it's fine. Master branch in Git. Let's read, because I'm also keen to hear what everybody has to say, or what people have to say on the internet regarding this topic on master branches. I mean, there are no projects, there are no many projects, or there are no projects at all. So they're supposed to have quickly loaded. Okay, we do have our stuff back. Funny enough, we do have one change, one commit that's supposed to go up. The question is why? Because this might be a scary thing for somebody that, in this case of computer being slowish, that I had to completely cancel the operation and then shut down Visual Studio. This could be a problematic because then it created this one weird change. I don't know what it's all about, and then this one commit that's supposed to be pushed and then it's not pushed yet. So the question is why? Because this process is supposed to be seamless and easy, but it seems like now we have some issues. Please don't hang again, because you have a habit of hanging. Visual Studio. This is... So what shall we do? Because we added the solution, yes, and then we have this guy that's supposed to go up, but where is he gonna go up to? See, it doesn't make sense, this thing. How about I hit push? Okay, we're going somewhere. What did we write? Come back to me, Mr. Tumi. Yes, we said it's gonna be at least, if this works, what I love about this is that it's like Microsoft tested this use case to say, there are times where it might not work efficiently, like in this kind of context that, I had to shut down the IDE completely. Like, okay, what if they want to continue with what they did? But you see, although it did create that repository, but now the project, let's go back. It did not add the solution, so the solution still is a change. You see now 32, here it is, and then there's a description. Come back to me, Mr. Tumi. This is fantastic, but it's empty. No, it's empty because these files, they were supposed to be part of the solution itself. It seems like I'm gonna have to expedite the process because I don't want to do commit message like what happens. I'm just gonna leave this project as it is. We're gonna create a second project, right? So let's do this. Close solution. We're about to do this again, but for Azure DevOps. So create a new project, and then like I said, I want to try out how do we do the same process for Azure DevOps like we did in GitHub. Templates, blank solution, yes. Next. So YouTube underscore private this time underscore new, and then we said there's a folder called YouTube, and in there, inside this folder, and let's hit create. Okay, because I intend to come back to this project I'm creating to do some stuff. You know, we're gonna play around, we're gonna create some stuff. You know, it's gonna be quite fantastic. Okay. I didn't know that you can click here on the git changes, but alternatively you can do right click and say create git repository. So we did explore this option. Let's explore a different one. There we go. Now this time it's not gonna be GitHub. Let's see if we cannot change this thing. Existing remote. What do you mean existing? How do I add this thing? How do I add a remote? So are you saying I can just type stuff and hit create and push? Does it make sense? What about configuring some stuff? So it seems like the option for Azure DevOps, I don't know how it's gonna work. So we're gonna have to go back to GitHub, unfortunately. So this one's gonna be private repo. Again, come back to me, sir. Okay, because I have no other. Okay, but this is for GitHub. I don't want GitHub. I want Azure DevOps. I want alternative. You know, it's fine. Create and push. This is what I wanted without having to have extra files, you know, left behind. This is what I wanted. So let's not disturb Visual Studio this time. Let's ensure that it works perfectly. Let's not do anything. It's my computer, I know, you know, but there we go. There we go. Oh, look at this. You see that two? See that? That two unpushed commit. It's good thing to know that two, because previously there was only one unpushed commit, and we saw that commit, right? It's those files. Let's go back to it. These files, it's one commit, as we can see, one commit. But let's go back and check the newly created repositories. Our repository, now there are 33, which is good. And let's see. There we go, private, 24 seconds ago. So now there are two commits. There we go, two commits. So the first one was these files, git attributes and git ignore. The second one was this one. So the initial commit was added to these files. The second one add project files. So next time we're gonna do on the previous the previous project, YouTube underscore public underscore new, we're gonna create a commit with the message add project files. Now we know. Good. Okay. But the last thing I need to do though, we need to go back to Azure DevOps because we need to create those repositories since we could not create them in the Visual Studio. So what is branch, master branch? According to Stack Overflow, the master Git branch is created default by Git. It should include the latest stable release of your software product, or in other words, the branch you want users to download by default. You should commit experimental features to v1, v2 branches. I think this we are done with the video. With this definition alone, we are done. We are literally done with this video. Again, the master branch is created by default. It's created by Git by default, right? Or Git creates this branch called master branch by default. It should include the latest stable release. This suggested that you should have multiple branches, okay, and that of your software product. Or in other words, the branch you want users to download by default. We'll take a look at that. You should commit experimental features to v1, v2 branches, right? So mean that then this is where the topic of merging comes in. That's why I've scheduled it. Merge changes from one branch to another branch. That's why I want to do branches afterwards. Makes sense? We are done with this thing. No more reading. So, oh no. Oh no, I want this account. I don't want my student account. It's fine. Okay, so let's switch quickly. Do I need to sign in? Typical Microsoft. Wait by me. Okay. We need this description. Copy that. Are you serious? Please keep me signed in. It's my computer, I trust it. And then I have to approve some stuff on my phone. Okay, I'm launching my app to authenticate this. Let's give it a second. Come on. Please. I can use my Microsoft. There we go. Approve. Again, I apologize for this delay. Yeah, but at least, you know, I'm not doing things, hiding stuff and all that. Cool. Right. Oh no, this. Why can't I just go straight up? Like, why are you showing my information? And what information could you possibly want to show me? Thank you. Not this. All right. So we need to move from this organization to a different organization so we can create those branch repositories quickly. Because what we're about to do, it's very imperative to have your cloud repositories syncing. Oh, by the way, I'm still busy with my new project email API. I'm done with this one. It's working perfectly. It's been deployed. And now this one, I'm still busy with it. So Tumi Tladi, organization. We did cover that Azure DevOps, it's flexible with organizations, but you can also create multiple organizations in GitHub. So let's give it a few. Okay, new project quickly. So these are the old ones from the previous videos, so I don't want those ones because they're messy. Come on. Description, and then YouTube _private underscore new. So we know it's a private repository. It's using get. There's another option here. Where is it? There we go. Cool. Okay, this one's been created. And then another one, a public one. Because the reason why I'm doing this, I'm not doing something that it's like it doesn't make sense. No, wait until we get to locals versus remote. Wait until it's gonna be quite interesting. And also when I get to get in Visual Studio, particularly get changes, we're gonna do some stuff. That's why I need them to be replicated like this. So YouTube public, we need this one. I just need to copy this description. And then it seems like this one has completed, but we need to wait for it. Go back. Yes, it's private. Now we are about to create a public one. And by the way, I've been trying to figure out something when it comes to Azure DevOps, so that when a repository is public, how do I browse it? How do I browse public repositories? So YouTube underscore public underscore new. So we know it's public. And hit create. Anyone on the internet can view project. How? That's the question. How? Okay, so we are done. Now, let's do something interesting on the private one. We want to create that adme, or we want to add the readme, right? Because the project, if you look at it, it's empty. There's nothing, right? And then it will be done. And we'll talk about the master branch in a second. Okay, so the private one. You see, by default, this is what I'm talking about. By default, based on Visual Studio locally, because by default, it also has this branch called master. If I click, it's only one branch, and it's a local branch. And we'll talk about the locals versus remote. So this is a default master branch. We'll talk about the icons, get icons. I've scheduled the video where we talk about the icons, get tiny icons. Okay, so it took this branch locally and then it created the branch in the cloud with the same name. So we no longer have that confusing default branch called main. It's only master branch. Then that's it. So we have read from Stack Overflow the purpose of this branch. And then we are done with this video. What I want to do now is to add this readme file, and we'll talk about this, but we have to add it. So when we add it, it's going to create a commit. So add a readme file. There we go. It's going to take the description, and I want it to be like that. Okay, because we're going to update this readme file at a later stage. So now it's going to be, this is going to be the file name in master branch, right? And then we just have to create, no, by default, I'm going to say create readme.md. So, and then this is the thing, we'll talk about this. Commit directly to master branch, yes, because it's safe. Or you can create a new branch for this commit and start a pull request. We'll talk about the pull request when we get to pull request. For now, commit new file. So I'm trying to recap on what happened in the previous video, the readme file. Cool. And now we have the third commit, which is we have created a readme file, and then here is a readme file. We did research on what the readme file is. In a nutshell, I'm done. So we have a master branch. It syncs with the master branch that's local, that's locally. And then also here by default, I forgot to show. If you go to let's just go to files so that it can show on the fly that we have only one branch, either public or private repo, it doesn't matter. Oh no, it's empty. Oh, because we haven't pushed code. Oh no. So that means we don't have branches by default because it's empty. You see, even branches, we cannot access them because it's empty. Okay. It's fine. Okay, that's it. We're done. So tomorrow, we're going to be doing branches. And I'm going to be showing you multiple branches. But the one thing I forgot to show, let me go and search Maui. Because I like to show Maui. That they said, but Maui, it's main branch. It's not a master branch. But this branch by default, which is it's a default branch, they have multiple branches. Microsoft has multiple branches, about 112 branches. We'll talk about this tomorrow, but I want to show that this is where we get to download. You see, this is a main. In our case, it's called master. So out of this branch, this is the latest commit. See, 2 days ago they pushed some stuff, good, and then this is where now I can download the entire project, like literally download, because it's a latest stable release. But I cannot do that from this branch that are funny, like build. I don't know what build mean, brushes, and we'll talk about this in the next video. So stay tuned for that. Please like if you found this content to be helpful. I apologize for some weirdness, you know, having to restart Visual Studio and stuff, but please do find it in your hand to click that subscribe button, and then stay tuned for more daily videos on this YouTube channel. Thank you very much. See you next time.